phone. I'm a 10. I've got time. I have time.
Very much like
I want to do this.
you actually not?
No. You have to do it on your own.
No, that can't work. I will do 99% of the talking. You're just going to.
That was a great catch. Fine number.
Yeah, and then
Moses, well, he was.
just try and be professional and neutral.
Gonna do BBC Three radio voice.
No, just speak as you normally would.
And now, second half.
It's going to be tough to see things over there.
My friend's over there as well.
Where is it?
By the cheerleaders as well. I got time.
Why not just call Mox? Or Alex Alex? Where's Alex?
In the huddle there, yeah.
Hi, Fresh wants to speak to you. Can you get his phone for him, basically? Hello and welcome to this live stream of the match in Preston of the UCLan Rams hosting the Hallam Warriors. My name is Sam Bloomfield.
My name's Adam Bamber.
And we're going to be doing commentary for the match today, which is due to kick off at 2:30 p.m. or 2 p.m. So yeah, this is the first fixture between the two teams of this year, and they have met previously for a number of years in the same division. Hallam more often than not coming out as the victors, but every now and again UCLan has been able to take a win. So the history of these teams, I suppose, is quite successful on both ends. Hallam has a long history, quite a lot of success. They've been in the Premiership of the newly, what should I say, the past few years. The alignments, they've dropped down, but they have been in the playoffs. I think every year since they dropped down from the Premiership, and I think once they were quite close to regaining their Premiership status. I think they fell short in the semi-finals, or perhaps the finals. UCLan, on the other hand, relatively new team. They've only been around since I think 2013, but they've never had a losing record. And the majority of the years they've been in the league, they've made the playoffs. What's one of the things that strikes you most, Adam, about the two teams today?
Well, just by looking at them both here now, there's a big difference in numbers of players on, say, both sides. So Hallam has quite the roster on them here. Quite a lot of players in almost every position by looking at it here. And UCLan seem to be quite a small, tight-knit team. I don't know if that could be due to, say, losing players over this past year, as is the case normally in uni ball. But it's going to be quite interesting to see how it is, because they do have quite a tight rivalry here. So it'll be quite interesting to see how this first game goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we just look to yesterday's fixture, the first fixture in the in this division, it was the newly promoted Leeds Griffins taking on the Sheffield Sabres. Now, Sabres are quite an established Division 1 team. They're usually in the mix of playoffs, if not actually making the playoffs themselves. And I suppose from a personal standpoint, and from what I have seen on social media, a lot of people believed that Sheffield would be getting quite an easy fixture, likely to get a win in that game. But actually, it was quite the opposite, and Sheffield being beaten by Leeds 43-19.
It was 49-19, I think it was in the end.
Okay, 49-19. So quite a big scoreline. They're not really something that you can say was a close affair, or, well, in my opinion, in those scorelines, you can't really say things like the scoreline doesn't reflect how the game went. I think that the scoreline probably does reflect how the game went. So it'd be interesting over the course of the season to see whether Leeds, really found themselves towards the end of last year and have continued that momentum. Whether Sheffield Sabres have maybe a depleted squad or a number of injuries. Interesting to see how that goes. Now, I'll mention these a number of times throughout the day, but we do have some fixtures upcoming to mention. So the next fixture that the UCLan Rams play after this is actually quite a while away. On the 1st of December, that's their next home game to the Sheffield Sabres. And then after that, there's another one on the 8th of December, and that's at home to Liverpool John Moore's Fury. I'll mention the other games that are after Christmas later on throughout the day. Now, for this game, we don't currently have on-screen scoreboard, so we'll try our best to keep you up to date with the score as often as possible, and kind of we'll give you insight into how the game has gone to that point. Now, something I am aware of is that this year Hallam have brought in a new head coach. So Kieran Dunn has previously been the team's defensive coordinator for quite a few years, I believe. But with Tom Carchie stepping to one side, taking over the Manchester Tyrants, Kieran has taken the step up towards head coach. And yeah, I suppose it'll be interesting to see whether the same success trickles down through. I know that Tom Carchie was part of the Richard Batty, or Grizz as you might know him, coaching tree, and so I imagine that Kieran Dunn is also part of that same coaching tree. On the UCLan side of things, head coach Chris Bradley, been part of the UCLan team for a number of years, on and off, in different roles. Also been involved with the Great Britain Junior programme. And whilst he's not here today, defensive coordinator Ryan Allen has stepped in as caretaker head coach. I've just been told to apologise for the drop in stream. It will be back. This is our first time doing a live stream fixture here at the Sports Arena, UCLan Sports Arena. So there's lots of technicals to figure out. But the stream will be back. Adam, you have played for UCLan before, and you've played against Hallam quite a few times.
I have, yes.
Now, you're predominantly an offensive player, so I'll stick with that for now. Talk to me about Hallam's defence, anything and everything.
As you mentioned before earlier about the defensive coordinator, for Hallam and whatnot, the only thing that I can say with their defence, they are very strong, very durable. They're a tough opponent to beat. For me personally, they were always the one team I wanted to get the win on and kind of shut them out or whatnot, but it's never been the case. It's never been an easy game. It's always been a struggle and a fight to the end. Obviously, changes have been made for both teams over this off-season. They brought new guys in, new coaches in and whatnot. Again, looking at the numbers of the amount of people on these rosters, it's impossible to say what we can expect because, again, that's the beauty of uni football. It's like 1 year you could be an unstoppable team, the next year you could be straight down to rookies. So I'm just excited to see how these guys are going to do and whatnot, and see what this defense is going to hold up and see if they can kind of live up to that nature that they've got.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I know about Hallam's defense is that they're always very aggressive, very well drilled, solid tacklers. They're always looking to strip the ball out. So to be quite honest, I wouldn't be shocked to see quite a few turnovers today because they do hunt the ball quite excessively. I know that you spent some time in previous years, but also this year you've spent a short amount of time with the UCLan offense. Can you just give us an insight into not their scheme, but perhaps maybe what they're going to try and do today, maybe?
Yeah, so when I've had chance or when I've been able to, I've come down and tried to help out because obviously, uni-wise, when it comes to that sense, you want to try and help out your team as much as possible. So offensively, there are, like, obviously not giving anything away like it happens every year. There are changes to the team. There's some exciting changes. There's obviously it's not going to be a complete overhaul, but one I think their bread and butter is what they used to, is say what they've used to kind of get to this position where they won to say division titles, get to the playoffs before using this offense. So I can't imagine many more changes being made, but do expect a couple of new things for Hallam to watch out.
Yeah, absolutely. Offense in the past for UCLan have gone from year to year from being very high scoring. I remember a few years ago when they were going for the Division 1 semi-finals, their offense scored 300 plus points, very high scoring and very different to the offense they run now. And in recent years, UCLan hasn't consistently been able to put up high scores, but fortunately for them, the defense has been able to help them out. We just have the captains going out for the coin toss now. Let's see who's going to receive the ball first. I believe that UCLan's desire usually is to have the ball first. Their attitude towards the game is that if they get out to an early lead, then the chances are that the other team can play from behind and that UCLan can try some different things offensively and defensively to put the pressure on. That being said, as I mentioned, with Hallam's defence being so aggressive, there's no guarantees that Hallam won't just turn the ball over quickly, get into the end zone, and then UCLan are playing from behind in the second half are at a slight disadvantage. Just trying to see who's won the toss here. There we go. So I think that UCLan are kicking off. Could be wrong about that. I think that's what. Yes, yeah, UCLan are kicking off. Hallam are to return, and we'll get our first action of the day. Referee Lee Taylor. So I believe that Hallam have a new quarterback this year. Apologies for pronunciation, but Callum Doherty. So it'll be interesting to see how he manages. As I know in previous years, the team has had Dutch Stevenson, who's a big arm quarterback, and I'm sure he'd love me to say that he's mobile as well. I think that last year they had more of a running quarterback. He could pass, and they were successful passing the ball. I think that he was quite agile, able to make things happen with his legs. Just waiting for the kick to be lined up. Now it's not completely against UCLan's nature to go for an onside kick as the first kick. This is a unique formation. Very gutsy if they were to attempt something cheeky here. We have Jack Stodel to kick. Good take. A few broken tackles here. But eventually the pile managed to bring him down. So Jack Stodel, the kicker, actually a GB youth player. I think he could be wrong, but I think he kicked and perhaps punted for the GB youth team. I think he's a bit of a handyman, playing running back and wide receiver. I think if I see correctly, he might be lined up at safety as well here. So we have our first offensive play. They are in a wing formation, double wing, apologies. And we have a power. Good tackling, not much of a gain probably around 2 yards. So we might not see a whole lot of passing today based on that formation. Adam, thoughts on that formation?
Well, for me personally, playing Hallam for a few years now, that's a new one for me. With them, I don't know, there's a couple of things which obviously you see a team come out in that formation is they're going for that run approach primarily, or they could have a few issues on the offense, like a big learning curve, say with the receivers or the pass game and whatnot. We're just going to have to see what it is. That's just the first snap so far. They could have a whole playbook full of ideas. We'll just wait and see.
We have another power. And number 3 looked to have broken out there. He has gained a first down.
That was Baron Abrahams.
Very, very, very difficult to stop double wing unless you've spent a little amount of time trying to prepare for it. I imagine that UCLan are perhaps a little caught off guard. Probably weren't expecting this kind of offense. So they'll have to survive this drive, and then when they get back to their sideline, stand-in head coach and defensive coordinator Ryan Hallam will likely try and make some adjustments to counter against this. Number 20 has broken free, breaks a few tackles, just short of the first down. That is Jack Porteous. So there's lots of misdirection with this formation. It's really difficult to tell where you are, and as a defensive player, when you're going against a double or single wing, the key is really to read the offensive line and flow across with the offensive line, and then take on blocks, and you will eventually, hopefully, meet the ball carrier. But obviously the problem being with that is the misdirection that comes with. Players need to avoid. Oh, free play here. Number 3 again, making his way down for another first down.
So to see if there was a flag called on that play.
Might be the flag for the offsides. Player was trying to get back. Now, something I'm aware of is that the referees can sometimes show leniency if the player is not trying to progress towards sort of the quarterback or the ball carrier. It's possible that they'll have waved the flag off, or maybe Hallam just declined. Okay, so we've got the 2 wing backs, number 80 and number 3. Number 3 in motion, and he takes the handoff, and he's tackled in the backfield by David Bean. Good tackle. Got good penetration there on the offensive line. So that's what I'm talking about when I say kind of trust your read, get in the backfield, and then it's on you to kind of make a tackle. Very tough to see, unlike a spread formation or trips, where you've got everything out in front of you, you can see where the ball is. The whole aim of double wing is to get more blockers to the point of attack, to create basically tough yards. We've seen a spread formation here. I still expect a motion perhaps.
Well, we've seen more teams over the past few years now in Uniball taking formations like this, as it is very popular and it is very successful. But you see they've gone more into a spread formation now.
Yeah, they are going to motion number 20 across. And we have a jet sweep. And 20 makes a big gain down inside the UCLan red zone, I believe. So UCLan at the minute really struggling to contain these runs, even when the Hallam ball carriers are going up the middle. They're getting there a few yards, and then they're bouncing out to the sidelines, and there's space. So, yeah, I think UCLan are going to have a chat when they get back to the defensive huddle and figure out how best to attack this offense, but also to contain the ball carriers to make sure they stay on the inside where all of their players are. 24 in motion, he receives the handoff. Missed tackle there, and 24 is in the end zone for a score. That is Moses Awelawa. Sorry about that, Moses Awelawa, I think. So yeah, we've just got just a methodical drive down the field. Only one negative play there for Hallam. UCLan really going to have a tough time stopping that offence. And if they do stand any chance, it's going to have to be quite big adjustments. UCLan are going to have to bring people down onto the line of scrimmage. And they're going to have to attack this offence to make sure that they can contain. So Hallam going for 2 here instead of kicking. Motions number 24 again. He receives the handoff.
And walks straight in.
Practically untouched for the 2 points. So the score is 8-0 to Hallam.
This is obviously going to be a shock for the UConn defence. And it's now going to have to be a case of they're just going to have to try and adjust on the fly throughout the whole game, see what changes they can make. Because in my time, Hallam has never come out in this formation. They wouldn't have been prepared for this run-heavy approach that they've now taken. And there's going to be a lot to be made to try and stop that next time.
Absolutely. UConn will have prepared all off-season going against their own offence, which I believe is more of a spread trip style offence. And then you have the first game, jitters and lack of rhythm to go along with that. UConn are really going to have to pull themselves together and have a chat about how best to stop this offence if they want to stand any chance of really making a difference on defence, because Hallam looks pretty unstoppable there, able to move the ball at will. So we have Hallam to kick off to UConn for the first time. Let's see Hallam's aggressive tackling style here. Ball's taken.
By Kyle Westall.
Couple of broken tackles there. He's doing well. Oh, could have been a face cage there. Good job, and he brings it just around to the 41, 42 yard lines. So UCLan coming out here for their first time. Now, they have a new quarterback this year. Long-time QB Josh Mills has graduated, and so we have now Fraser Gillian taking his first snaps at quarterback in a competitive game. UCLan in a more traditional spread formation. Single back pistol. Not much there for number 4. Number 3 for Hallam, Barham Abrams, coming down quite aggressively. He's playing wing back and inside linebacker as well. So both teams have a number of players who are playing both ways. Do you think that's because they have a lack of players, Adam, or do you think that's more to do with just the level of those players?
Well, like I said earlier, you can see there's not a lot of guys on this team, so it could be a case of either UCLan especially just going to have to work with, say, what they've got. And looking around and look at some of the numbers, there are some long-term players here, so they do have the ability to play both ways. Hallam could just be, he could have recruited well. He might have had a lot of players who should play certain positions, and it might be new and whatnot. People trying it either way, but either way, from seeing from the score at the moment, and that first drive, it seems to be working for Hallam, but
Absolutely.
Again, still early days.
Bubble pass on that last play from Fraser to Mark Baldwin. Got a couple of yards. And we've got a 3rd and long here. Fraser's motion the running back. Drops back to pass. Rolling out. And he's thrown the ball away. Now it's got beyond the line of scrimmage and he is outside of the tackle box, so there'll be no intentional grounding penalty. Hallam get their first stop. And UCLan line up in a punt formation with Jack Stodel back to punt again. As I said, I believe he's GV Youth's punter, so you'd hope or expect A good punt here to pin Hallam back in their own territory. UCLan looking to be having number issues right now. You want to be quick, otherwise they're going to get called for a delay of game. Snap is low, Jack picks it up, manages to get a punt off. It's a good punt.
Ooh.
And it is stopped by Samuel Howell. So Hallam will take over in their own half. UCLan will probably just be happy to get the ball into their half after that low snap on the punt there.
So what we've seen from that first drive from UCLan is a very familiar formation, very familiar offense. Nothing new yet, but like you had said, it's still early days, first quarter, still the first drive. They'll have to make adjustments on the fly now to see how they could stop that defense powering through like they just did.
Absolutely. So we can see here, I think they might have brought another linebacker inside the back, although he's leaving now. UCLan's still playing relatively off considering the offensive formation for Hallam. But they do make a tackle there, and we have a late flag. Let's see what Lee Taylor's got for us. So Lee Taylor's going to talk to head coach Kieran Dunn, probably about what he wants. Late flag. Could be something in the tackle, perhaps a face cage or dead ball foul. That's on the offense, so that'll take them half distance to the goal. And they will start a bit further back, but they'll have they'll go back to first down. Okay, UCLan's still playing quite far back.
I'm out in a spread formation here now.
Yeah, expecting a motion. We have sweep to number 20. And, oh, Jack Stodel goes for a high tackle. Almost makes the tackle. Might be a face cage there or grasping the helmet. Have to see. That was Jack Porteous on the carry there. So the linebackers for UCLan, Andy Townsend, he's moved down now. So he's playing more kind of inside the box, as opposed to playing slightly off as he was before. Hallam still have, I think, 4 down linemen. But with Hallam playing wide outs, wide receivers, you're kind of going to struggle to bring the cornerbacks in to support on that run. And with the motions, you're kind of going to have to respect both the pass to the slot receivers and the run. We have another jet sweep. And UCLan again managed to tighten up. UCLan claiming that they have the football, but I'm quite sure that the offensive player was down at that point.
Well, UCLan this time around they're doing a better job swarming the ball, keeping an eye on it, trying to get a check on them outside runs, and you can see now it is a 4th and long for Hallam.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've yet to see Hallam pass at all. But in the pre-game warm-ups, we did see number 5. He was able to pass. I believe that Hallam are calling for their punt team. sitting up. So we'll see Hallam punt for the first time, and we'll see Jack Stodel go back for the return. It would seem as though UCLan are using Jack Stodel as that handyman, doing all things. So let's see if he can field a return here. A lot of pressure fielding a punt. I know that this is Jack's first university football game. He's come up to Preston, the Hereford Cheetahs. Referee's just checking something here, I think. Okay, we're all set for the punt. Oh, he's got a good bounce on that punt, and UCLan will start with excellent field position just inside Hallam's half. Okay, so do you think that UCLan will try and commit to the run a little bit more in this drive, or do you think they're kind of bread and butter and they're going to stick with the pass?
Well, I think from seeing some of the guys that have got on this offense now, they're going to have to try and figure out what's going to work for them very soon. Like, they can't keep taking chances and whatnot. I think give the run a bit of a go. Number 4, he had a great return, had a good run. If you could just get the blockers and whatnot, the O-line to give it a hold a little bit longer, so I think we can see something here.
Yeah, very aggressive defensive line for Hallam. I know that they have Stephen Connolly, number 99. He's a long-time Hallam player, very aggressive, and you can see him just get penetration there. Apologies, he's 98, Stephen Connolly. I know him as Tickle. You can see him with the blue sleeves there, very, very long time. Yeah, long time Hallam player. Also plays for the Sheffield Giants. Must be on his 2nd or 3rd PhD here. Okay, so we've got UCLan in the spread. Quarterback Fraser's just talking to his running back. Offensive line for UCLan taking quite a while to get set here. Got 2nd and long. Silent snap for UCLan. And immediately the running back is overwhelmed. Just nowhere really for the running back to go on that one. You can see that in their formation, UCLan are lining up initially in pistol, and then quarterback will motion the running back to a particular side.
Yeah, it looks like the quarterback's making a decision on which way he wants to bring his running back or take his running back. Say, obviously pre-snaps, he'll line him up there, and then he'll put him whichever way he wants him to go. But from looking here on this drive especially, there seems to be, they just can't seem to kind of stop that left side coming through.
No, left side really getting penetration through, and then we now have Tickle on the right hand side, number 98, who's we might call his name a couple of times today. Snap along the floor, and Fraser just dives on to recover the ball. And that is another 4th down stop there. So UCLan actually end up with what could be 10 yards of negative plays there.
If that was the other way, that would have been great, but...
So UCLan on to punt. Jack Stodel back again. Ball was along the floor last time, and he still was able to put together a good punt. So let's see if this time he's able to field a good snap. Hopefully he'll get a better punt off. UCLan once again struggling with numbering issues on their punt formation. UCLan looking like they have 2 personal protectors here. Low snap again, but Jack manages to pick it up. gets the ball away for another good punt. Nice job, and Glody able to, yeah, sorry Glody, your surname is, I'll give it a go, Muvala. Glody Muvala.
Just don't watch back on this, Glody.
So Hallam about to start their third drive, once again in their own territory, pinned back quite deep. Now on the last drive, the penalty, the unsportsmanlike conduct, really hurt them. And I suppose in this kind of offence, you can't really afford to have penalties because if you're not relying on the pass and you're exclusively relying on the run, it kind of puts you in a bit of a poor situation trying to gain extra yardage. I imagine that Hallam's mentality is around 3 or 4 yards of play, and they're happy with that, and every now and again they'll break a slightly larger run. So let's see what they can do on this drive. Let's see if UCLan can have the same success as they did on the last drive.
They should be starting to get a bit more familiar with what they're running now, so
yeah, we can see UCLan looking to the sideline for calls. 24 in motion, and we have handoff to 24 on a power. 24 managing to break a few tackles there, good support from his offensive line. Manages to pick up maybe a yard. So UCLan will probably feel that they stand a chance in this game and that they just need to get their offense working because defense over the past drive and one play have managed to hold firm on these runs. As you said, Adam, they've probably gotten a little bit more comfortable with what they're likely to see here. Oh, we have a misdirection there, counter play, and we've got number 20 breaking tackles. Good hit out of bounds by Glody.
huge gain for about 30-40 yards there.
And that's just those counter plays that you see in a double wing. You'll have the jet sweep, the other jet sweep, the handoff, and then they'll hit you with a counter. And because you're so used to seeing the previous plays, you're not really keying on that counter, and it can just catch you completely by surprise and really got UCLan there.
So look, it was going well for UCLan there, but I think that could be the problem with the fact they do have a lot of new guys on this defense. So when you think they've seen it all, and then they just fake that handoff, give it to another guy, and he bounces to the outside, that's when it could all that's when they can really punish you.
Absolutely. 20 just easily making yardage here on the outside. Very little contained there. Unsure if it's the slot receiver who's able to get the outside linebacker sealed inside. But the outside run here is really killing UCLan.
I think Hallam have picked up on the fact that these outside runs are getting them big yards, and they're going to keep doing that, I think, until UCLan can do something to try and stop it.
Yeah, and call there from referee Lee Taylor. UCLan obviously jumped offside. Hallam have declined because they gained more than the 5 yards. So it's now 2nd and short. And you have to assume that Hallam are going to run another outside play. 24 up the middle, and he'll try and bounce. Well, there was no outside contained, so 24 didn't need to go up the middle. Hallam, UCLan are making good tackles down the field, but within the first 3 or 4 yards of the line of scrimmage, there's nobody there to even grab the runner. Got to think that UCLan are going to have to try and bring players slightly further outside.
I think UCLan have a player down there.
Yeah, just by the first down marker. a short time out here while the medic sees them. So UCLan, with their low numbers, you would think can't really afford to lose any more players, especially defensive players, because this style of offense is really going to wear you down, and it is contact after contact, and playing against this kind of offense is absolutely relentless because you have the offensive line who are constantly pursuing you, the receivers and wing backs who are coming. I think it was
looking at it's Alex Mountain, is it?
yeah, number 54, Alex Mountain. He's managed to walk off, limp
Seen
off.
on that last play, he tried to get the tackle on number 24 Moses Iwaliwa, and just bounced right off him. So it could just be a jolt. It could be a bit of a shock to his body and whatnot. That could be it. But
yeah,
it looks like he's slowly getting up.
He's managed to limp off now. Knowing Alex Mountain, I imagine he'll put some ice on and be back out shortly.
Well, playing with Alex Mountain for a few years, he's very good at getting hurt, but he's also very good at getting up and playing whilst he's hurt. So I do expect to see him again within the next few drives.
So we've got Hallam have a first down, well within UCLan's half. And again, not really seeing players too far outside for UCLan here. Number 4's coming a bit wider. He needs to attack down if he'd like to make an impact on these plays. Great tackle by Andy Townsend there. Came straight through the line. Almost broke free, ball carrier, but Townsend just managed to keep hold and bring him down.
So, like, Andy Townsend is going to be one of the guys that the Hallam offense have got to keep an eye on. He's been there for a few years now. He's made huge tackles. He's made huge stops and whatnot. So obviously, he's still here. It's going to be. He should be a problem for this offense.
Yeah, so UCLan are probably going to want Andy Townsend to be able to roam quite freely, which I imagine is why they've got him at that inside linebacker spot, perhaps playing a little further off than you traditionally would, because he's got very good instincts, so his ability to read where the ball's going. So, number 24 just slicing through that defense with ease. Referee Lee Taylor signals a first down. So Hallam now will have first down and goal. UCLan looked good for a drive and a couple of plays against this offense. Looked like they'd familiarised themselves, perhaps made a couple of adjustments. But Hallam just pounding the ball play after play. Still yet to see a pass from Hallam. And I anticipate that we'll just see power after power here. It's a good tackle by Jack Stodel. Andy Townsend coming in to assist there. Number 20 looked like he might have managed to get around that edge into the end zone there, but he's brought down short. We've got second and goal.
I think as well, defensively, playing against this type of offense is very tiring. So with the low numbers, especially with UCLan squads, they're going to have to kind of give it all this whole game. And then if Hallam can keep doing this the entire game, then it's going to actually be a problem for UCLan. We'll try and do something quick.
Yeah, UCLan are going to be hoping that their defense can hold firm here, and that on the next drive, offense can get some kind of rhythm going. 24 in motion, hand off to him, up the middle, bounces, and he manages to make his way into the end zone for another Hallam touchdown. So you've got to anticipate Hallam's going to go for the 2-point again here. Short yardage situations, UCLan haven't been able to stop these power runs particularly well. We see that same formation. Got for as the wing back.
I'm expecting a similar type of play. They managed to just kind of throw out this entire drive. But
yeah, we have just a simple power. Andy Townsend bursting straight through the line to stop there. Which brings us to 14-0 to Hallam Warriors. So we saw a good return last time from UCLan's kick return team. Number 4, Kyle Westwell, had quite a good return. So, got to hope that UCLan have something in their up their sleeves for this next drive, because so far haven't really been able to generate any offense.
yeah, this offense is, they're going to have to click, and it's going to have to be soon. Otherwise, it's going to be a very similar story most drives now throughout the rest of this game.
Fortunately for UCLan, they have an offense that could potentially be built to play from behind, whereas Hallam's offense, not that it matters right now, is not really built to play from behind. Kick there, and David Bean comes out to return.
Oh, big hit.
Trucks a defender, manages
Refusing
to
to go
break
down.
2 tackles, stiff arm there. Couple of big hits by David Bean there. Not the returner, but fielded the ball pretty well in those dashing blue legs. Quite quiet today from both teams. I'm used to UCLan's sideline being very loud, and Hallam, pretty much matching UCLan step by step. There's not really a whole lot of noise today.
So we just have a little date whilst we're waiting now for this offense to come on. The score is 14-0 to Hallam.
14-0, we're in the second quarter. There's been a penalty on the kickoff. So
there is a player down on the Hallam sideline here.
Yeah, there is a Hallam player who's down. So Hallam and UConn coming back out for the kickoff here. Not sure what the penalty was, but one of the teams has chosen to elect to re-kick. We've got another delay. Hallam have taken a timeout. First timeout of the day for either team. Hallam have got 2 timeouts left. UConn have 3. We're in the second quarter. So offensive coordinator Alex Challens for the UCLan Rams. Thoughts on what he is cooking up now, Adam?
Well, he's had a good idea now. He's had a good look at the defense that Hallam have provided. He's got to be having some strong words with that offense. He's got to be telling them the same things that we probably talked about here. Is that they need to get something going. I'm more than certain he's got a few tricks up his sleeve and whatnot that he's going to try and bring out these next few drives and whatnot. But he's also at the same time he's got no choice. So he's going to have to try and rally that offense together. He's going to try and get Fraser Gillian together, the quarterback, try and get his offense going and see what they can pull out these next few drives.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be important to get the ball into the hands of his playmakers now. I know that Jack Stodel is on that offense, and I assume that it could be quite valuable to get the ball into his hands. I've also heard of a new player for UCLan, Jared Roscoe, number 19. I believe he's playing wide receiver for them, and he has speed to burn. So it'd be very interesting to see if Alex has a way to get the ball into the playmakers' hands, because at the minute they're really struggling to get the ball into anybody's hand apart from the running backs.
It's a Good little move by Kyle Westall.
Here. Makes a nice move. Gets out to around the 45-yard line. It's a great return. Once again, setting UCLan up with good field position. But UCLan have got to see if they can make something happen here. Fraser's making some calls at the line. That big Hallam defensive line ready. UCLan have 2 signal callers. UCLan in familiar spread formation. With Jack Stodel and Jared Roscoe on the same side. We've got the motion of the running back. High snap, Fraser fields it well though, rolls out, looks like he's going to run. And not sure if he gained any yards there, he might have gained around a yard. Looks like Fraser's feeling that pressure quite a bit. Adam, I know that you have briefly played some quarterback. Thoughts on being behind that offensive line for the first time and what it's like?
It's a different feeling from playing any other position. Once you're there, you know that everyone on that defense is coming for you, they're gunning for you. You have next to no time to make a decision pre-snap and post-snap, so I can understand the pressure that Fraser is currently going through. He's got 1,000,001 things going through his brain right now, and it is a lot of pressure obviously to put this entire offense on him to try and get something going. But very unfortunate on that. So.
Good pass by Fraser. Looked like he delayed slightly. I'm not sure if Jack Stodel ran his route correctly, but he managed to get the ball out to him. Good pass. Jack almost brought it in. He would have been tackled immediately, you assume, but couldn't quite bring it in. Something to note is that it is taking quite a while for the offense of UConn to get their calls in.
Before they are taking the time to get set and get ready and whatnot. It was obviously different from previous years that UConn have run this offense, where they can tend to be quite get to the line, get it set, try and beat that defense to it. But we're seeing a different approach now this drive.
And it's a good catch by Jared Roscoe, but he is stopped short of the first down. So we're going to have about 4th down and 4 here. We'll see a lot here, I think, by what UConn decide to do. It is looking like they're going to punt. And you've got to assume they're making that choice because they've not really been able to put together much offensively. But this just puts the pressure back on the defense again, giving Hallam another opportunity to score. And you've got to imagine that UCLan defense is feeling quite tired. Let's see if we can get a good snap here on the punt. Good snap on the punt. Jack wasn't able to get much yardage on it. I think he sliced it to the right, and it is going to give Hallam pretty good field position. Perhaps their best starting field position of the day, which you would think maybe doesn't bode well for UCLan.
Well, they went for a more passing approach that last drive then. Made some good reads, obviously. Unfortunate the first one and then the catch, but I think this could be a good approach for UCLan to try and get them quick, short, underneath passes and whatnot. They could try and get something going. But again, like I said previously, it was like they're going to have to try and figure something out quick, or it's not going to end well for them.
Absolutely. So this formation again, we have number 3 at the wing. Number 20 has been having a lot of success. So it looks like a lot of the time they do run towards the wide side of the field. It's a good tackle there by Glody again. Called his name a few times already. It looks to me as though they're running to the wide side of the field more often, which would make sense considering their aim is to get more players to the point of attack and then be able to find space. You're going to be able to do that with more success if you're running to the wider side of the field than the narrow. But they do have that counter, which we saw really struggle to defend that last time. 3 on the motion. And we've got another handoff to 3, this time to the narrow side. Hallam must have heard me. Once again tackled. UCLan just don't have an answer for this offense. It's bruising. They'll be very tired. The offense isn't on the field for very long, so the defense has spent a lot of time on the field. And not only that, a lot of those defensive players feature on the offense as well. I know could see a couple of the offensive line there. David Bean, Max Lorenz are out there.
Jared Roscoe out at corner as well.
Yeah, Jack Stodel still at safety. UCLan really struggling to stop this offense, and Hallam getting a first down on that play, that last play. Expecting to see a counter here at some point. Just a regular jet sweep. Good tackle, and Andy Townsend's helmet comes off on the play, unfortunately, which does mean he'll have to take one play off before he can come back on, if he is in fact all right. He's fine, it looks, but he does need to take one play off. The reason for that is when the helmet comes off, obviously, quite a few times it could be a head injury. But it's just for the coaches, referees, medics to be able to double check, make sure that there's no chance of any concussions, anything like that. I'm sure Andy will appreciate the slow walk back to his sideline anyway, as he's been flying around quite a bit in this game. Number 69 also for Hallam. He's coming off. Rafael Felicio. Coming off under his own power though, so that's good. Hallam's offense, double checking with offensive coordinator Simon Byrne. I'd be willing to bet that it's a power, Adam.
They're probably talking about which way they're going to run the ball this time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the ball is on the left hash this time, so fiver is on the ball going to the right, or a counter to the left, if you're feeling lucky.
24 in motion. Ball's gone over.
Ball's gone over. QB dives on sensibly. Rams are able to cover that.
Giving the UCLan Rams defense a little bit of a break there.
We've got 3rd and very long here. So these are the situations I'm very interested to see what you do in this offense. Are Hallam going to come out and pass here, Adam, or are they going to just run and survive this drive?
I think in this situation, they're not going to pass. Unless they do, then that's on me. But I can imagine it going pretty much a run to the right there. Just bounce it out, and I reckon if we can get them blockers, they can take this. They've done it before.
Yeah, it's going to be a basic run, I imagine, or perhaps a counter.
There he goes. Back inside.
That's a great tackle. Great tackle there. No gain. And
74 making sure that the tackler was on the floor, so that was nice of him.
And now we'll see if Hallam do in fact punt. They're out in their offensive formation. Thoughts on them trying to catch offense offside. UCLan defense offside here with a snap count.
Jet sweep there.
Number 20, managing to break tackles. UCLan hold firm, get the ball just inside their own half. Now, we've got to imagine that UCLan are going to go back to this passing attack. They're behind. They're down 14 points with very little time left in the first half. They've got good field position. They do have. UCLan might have just called a timeout there. but they have a minimum of 2 timeouts, perhaps 3 if they haven't called a timeout. You've got to assume that they're going to try and get the ball in the hands of their playmakers now. Now, something I did just see is Jack Stodel, number 82. Did have a bit of a limp there. Could just be a knock. See him collapse there.
He's down.
I think he'll be up in a second, but could affect the play calling if he's not able to go 100%. To see offensive coordinator Alex Challens just chatting to the offense there. Again, a lot of those offensive linemen also playing defense. So you've got to imagine that unless they're a cardio line, they're going to be struggling.
Yes.
Did you like that one?
Just gonna let it go.
So the stream is actually open to advertisement, and all you need to do is head to capturesports.co.uk, and you could have your advertisements on the stream today.
And for people just tuning in, it is 14-0 to Sheffield Hallam.
Fraser motioning, running back, Michael Hansen. Silent snap again. Hand off to Hansen up the middle. Does manage to break a tackle, or he's stopped for a gain of maybe 2. So interesting tactic here from UCLan. Not long left in the first half, but trying to run the ball at the middle. Maybe they're trying to catch Hallam off guard.
Gonna see. Not long left. They're gonna have to pull something out here.
Yet to see Fraser's arm. See if he can get the ball downfield here. 8 yards to go for another first down for UCLan. Ball was just too low. It was not terrible positioning. It was low and outside, but perhaps just a touch short, and number 19, Jared Roscoe, wasn't able to come up with it. Would have made it a more manageable 3rd down. Did look like Fraser had a little more time there than on previous plays. Maybe the offensive line has managed to shore up a little bit and buy him some time. Got to imagine the Rams are going to go for a slightly deeper pass here. Got to get 8 yards plus for this. Fraser making checks at the line. Oh, short pass again. Very little gain there for Jared Roscoe. 2 or 3 yards, and we've got another 4th down.
I think in this position, if I was the Rams, I'd have to go for it. You just take a chance this late into the second quarter, just see what they've got. But it looks like they are electing to punt it. So
absolutely. Rams have taken a timeout. They might be considering what to do here. Could also be that the Rams' very few players are tired and having to take a break. Rams still haven't gained a first down offensively today. So the Rams with very little time left in the second quarter. Looking like they're going to punt back to Hallam, who have 2 timeouts left. And Hallam, being the aggressive team that they are, may well try and get in the end zone before the half is over.
Still seems to be no rush to this UCLan side here. They're just that could be it. They could be very tired from playing both sides and whatnot, but
Very nonchalant.
a bit of urgency. Oh,
And the fake, I think, was successful. I believe that UCLan have gained a first down. Do you think that was planned fake, Adam,
I
or
was
do you
just
think the
about to say,
pressure?
I think he immediately got the pressure. He was about to wind up that kick, and he had no choice but to bring it in and just take it in, and it worked out for them. So
Yeah, it looked to me that he really felt the pressure and then trusted himself. I imagine UCLan are keen to get the ball into his hands, but I think they've only directed one or two passes his way so far. First down gained for UCLan there, but it was a special teams play. Offense still not gained a first down.
let's see, that can change this time now.
Got a second chance here. UCLan got to think they're going to go for a little bit of a deeper pass here. Fraser's talking about passing with Jack Stodel. So maybe we'll see something a little deeper than a quick out or a jailbreak from UCLan. So I'm told to tell you to apologise for the buzz on the stream before. It has been fixed now, I believe. So we'll see how the Rams take their second chance here and see if they want it or see if they don't want it.
Yeah, I think by the way, the lack of tempo and just the lack of urgency, it really does seem like they don't want it. But let's see if they can prove me wrong on this drive.
We have a handoff. Interesting tactic with such little time left. So I believe that UConn have one timeout left and there'll be very little time. I think Lee Taylor is signalling that this could potentially be the last play of the half. UConn still unwilling to take a deep pass attempt.
You just got to go for it.
We've been asked if Hallam 83 is alive. Oscar Giles is alive and well.
He was up and walking before. He had a bit of a limp on him. He's just sat down now.
Just sitting down, having a relax. UCLan here are seemingly not interested in trying to get a score before the half. Hallam taking great pleasure in the fact that UCLan are trying to run the ball in this situation, and we have a third and long. Hallam have called a timeout, and that tells you exactly how Hallam feel about getting the ball back before the half. We might have a bit more time left than I anticipated in the half. And Hallam, I think Lee Taylor just had 2 seconds remaining. So, as we mentioned at the start of the stream, Hallam really aggressive defense and will be looking to rip that ball out. Perhaps Hallam fancy their chances to get a turnover and maybe take it back to the house.
Well, Fraser knows his guys. He knows who his potential targets are. And this is the thing with UConn Rams. They've over the years they've had a lot of players come and progress up to higher levels. For example, we've got Corey Deer, who's just been out in Sweden playing for the Great Britain team. Took a bit of a beating, but it's just showing the type of potential and the type of players that we can make out there.
So we'll see if the Rams here are interested in making a go of it and taking a deep shot, or whether they're just going to try and run those last 2 seconds off and just go to the half. Number 11 for the UCLan Rams is Mark Baldwin. He's wearing a Manchester Titans helmet. He plays for them during the summer season. He's lining up at slot receiver here. Okay, got a call. Snap wide. Fraser manages to field it. And on third down, just throws the ball away. That is the half. So, score here at the half is 14-0 to Hallam. And you've got to imagine that UCLan are feeling quite lucky to only have a 14-0 deficit.
I think they're very happy that the half has come around and they can get a bit of a breather now. This is their chance now to kind of all come together as a team, talk about what they need to do to change, try and switch this game around, because I feel like nothing changes or the team stays where they're going. It's just going to be a very one-sided event today. But
yeah, UCLan didn't get a first down in that half on their offense. And the only true success that they had defensively came from penalties. Hallam were able to run the ball at will. They haven't needed to pass, if that is something that's in their arsenal at all. It's going to be a tough turnaround for UCLan to have an impact defensively and shut down those outside runs. And it's going to be an even tougher task for offensive coordinator Alex Challens and quarterback Fraser to try and get the ball moving offensively. It looks to me as though the offensive line for UCLan are being dominated by the Hallam defensive line. Running backs have very little space to move through, being tackled well into the backfield or for no gain. It's going to be very, very tough for UCLan to turn this around. But as we mentioned, UCLan's offense, a spread formation that does have bread and butter of passing, not built to play from behind, but could come from behind if they were to call the right plays. So what do you expect to see from UCLan in the second half?
I think UCLan, they're going to have to try and, I know they've got a vast playbook. We're only seeing little snippets of it right now. They're going to have to try and branch out a little bit more, see what works with them, see what guys they've got. Say with the issues with the line, say with that pressure down that left side, the run game struggling. They're going to have to make a lot of changes, and then they're just going to have to try and find who they are this time round, because it's obviously that they're not being able to imitate previous years that offense used to be. Defense are just going to have to try and hold out and just try and keep up with this strong running game that Hallam are providing at the moment.
And what are Hallam going to do to maintain or increase their lead in this?
I think seeing what Hallam are providing at the moment, they know what works. Again, if they even have a pass game, they've not needed to show it, they've not needed to do it, because these outside runs, these power plays and whatnot, they just seem to be executing very well against this defense. And for me, they could just do this all day long if UCLan can't make any form of adjustment or try and figure out a way to stop this.
Absolutely. Just some of the Hallam players walking past our booth here mentioned quite excitedly that they've had 0 pass attempts, which lets me know that they can pass. but they have not felt the need to pass at all. And you've got to imagine that they'd be quite proud if they were able to play this whole game without any pass attempts at all. So we will leave you for the half, and we'll join you in the second half for more coverage of the UCLan Rams hosting the Hallam Warriors. It is 14-0 at the half to Hallam. Stick with us, and we'll see if UCLan can make a game of it.
What do you think of the team? I was watching that one. Yeah, that kind of.
It's on Zero.
Okay, welcome back to the second half. We have Hallam literally just about to kick off. They've kicked off to UCLan.
Oh, and a
And
drop
he's
by Kyle
muffed
Westwell.
the return a little bit, but he has made a decent amount of yardage. Had some feedback from friends and fans on the YouTube, and they've told us that me and Adam are very monotonal and boring. We do have personalities, so I will do my best to bring a little bit more personality to the stream, as opposed to being very boring.
This is just who I am.
Adam is very boring. So we have UCLan coming out for their first offensive drive of the second half. Didn't gain an offensive first down in the last half. So let's see what the plan is this time. Just briefly chatting with quarterback Fraser in the halftime break. He told me that whilst he is struggling to get any time to pass, a lot of the options that he's seeing, it's the shorter routes that are open. So he's those are the options he's going for, and obviously in Fraser's mind, he's just trying to get as many yards as possible. Snap actually goes beyond Fraser, and once again, sensibly falls on it, but it does mean that he's going to have second down with a significant loss. UCLan start the second half with a negative. So we've got UCLan on second and what must be second and 20 here. Still in the same formation. UCLan again taking a little bit of time to get plays in here. Let's hope these snaps can sort themselves out and we can. Okay, we've got a little jailbreak screen out to front. Oh, Jack Stodel not able to bring it in.
The ball was a little bit behind him. He tried to obviously get his left hand on that, but just couldn't bring it in.
The offensive line have had a pretty tough time so far dealing with the Hallam defensive line. Got a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and there's been no such running game really. Let's see if they can get something. I imagine they're going to be trying to make sure they don't have a turnover here in on this third and 20. Snap's good. And it is just a handoff. There is, I believe, a flag on the play, however. I anticipate that with the timing of the flag, it's likely to be perhaps defensive offsides or illegal formation offense. See what referee Lee Taylor has for us. I think we have a chop block. So for anyone who doesn't know what a chop block is, that is when an offensive player blocks a defensive player low around the knees or shins, and at the same time another offensive player blocks that same defensive player up top. So he's getting a double dose, obviously an illegal penalty because it's quite dangerous. So UCLan will be pinned back even further here. Hallam have elected to pin them back further, and they could have taken a fourth down and long and have UCLan punt it. But Hallam's mentality here has got to be, we want a safety here, and we think that you're going to hand it off. So assuming that UCLan hand it off, Hallam are going to blitz everybody here. You can see the two linebackers there, 57 and the other linebacker that's creeping on the left there. They're going to blitz, and they're going to try their best to stop UCLan in the end zone. Fraser rolls out, keeps the ball, gains a couple of yards, insignificant yards. Perhaps put UCLan in a slightly better situation to punt the ball away. That tells you a lot about how Hallam are as a defensive team.
Yes.
So we'll see UCLan to punt well inside their own half here.
You got number 3 for Hallam there at the back. Baron Abrahams ready for the return.
See if Jack Stodel can get a clean snap and hopefully show off his punting prowess.
Wow.
Good punt there. And Hallam are going to field it. Number 3 has the ball. Good tackle made there. Oh, he's still going actually. Very good yardage made. It's always tough fielding a punt.
We've got a Hallam player down there. Hand on his arm.
Looks to be okay. So Hallam will start the second half well inside UCLan's territory, around the 30, oh, I think maybe the 25-yard line.
Do you think we're going to see anything different this half, or do you think?
I think we're going to see the exact same thing from Hallam. They have no reason to change. And that is just another power. Number 24 on the motion there. Easily gaining yardage there. Hallam just look a lot more pumped up for this game. I can hear them shouting a lot more. And at the same time, the Rams players, a lot of them don't seem to really be tackling around the waist. They seem to be trying to grab at shirts, which when a player is running full speed, we got a false start there. When a player is running full speed, it's going to be tough to grab a bit of cloth.
We're speaking to the Hallam wide receiver coach at the halftime, Luca Fabrique, trying to get anything out of him, see what if there's going to be anything extra on this offense he's got to give. He says they got a few pass plays lined up. He said his receivers are more than capable. There's something, I don't know. I think from seeing what I've seen here, I don't really believe him. I think he's going to be like this for the majority of the game.
Well, as an offensive enthusiast, I'm sure you join me when I say that I'd love to see a couple of passes here.
I want to see that ball in the air. I want to see what they've got.
Especially after counter here,
There
number
we go.
20. That is the danger play. And I believe that is a touchdown, yes. That counter play working again. So Hallam will hit you with the power, and then they'll hit you with another power, until eventually you're so used to the power, expecting it play after play, that they'll run the counter, and you have no defenders in sight. A couple of defenders for UCLan made a really good effort to get over there. A couple of steps more or quicker, and they perhaps could have tackled him just short of the goal line. But 20, Jack Porteous, very fast, nimble, managed to get through into the end zone. Hallam going for the 2 points here. Motion number 3. He's managed to break free of those tackles. A couple of UCLan defenders missed, but number 30 eventually was able to bring him down. That's James Mann. I think there might be a late penalty flag coming there. So pending this 2-point flag, the score is currently 20-0. Let's see what the penalty is from Lee Taylor. So Lee Taylor called a block in the back by the defence. I'm not going to lie, Adam, I'm a little confused here. I think he said it by rule. I think Lee's going to come over and give an explanation to head coach Kieran Dunn. I think Hallam's offense. Okay. I think Lee Taylor called a block in the back on the defense, but he meant a block in the back on the offense, and that UCLan could decline.
Everyone just seems a little bit confused here.
I'm terribly confused. The referees are scrambling. Well, the score is currently 20-0. Hallam's first offensive drive has been a success. Just seeing if we can add on 2 points, make it a 22-0 game to Hallam. Still waiting to find out from the referees what has been decided. Lee Taylor originally, if I'm not mistaken, called block in the back on the defense. Excuse me. Lee Taylor once again explaining to head coach Kieran. Okay. So they've waved the flag, and so Hallam's 2-point attempt was not successful, and we'll see Hallam kick off to UCLan.
We've made progress. This is a positive. We can move on.
I'm feeling good about it.
We've got that number 4, Kyle Westwell at the back there. See if we can get a decent return from him again.
So last drive for UCLan, there was a chop block penalty which set them back quite a way. So let's see if we can get a good return here. He's not managed to field it.
He'll have to get on that.
He's made a
Nice
good
step.
move there.
Back in.
And he's tackled by... Oh, we have late flag. There must be pushing in the pile there. It just depends on whether it's by UCLan or Hallam.
I saw number 2 for Hallam looking to drag someone away there. Very aggressive.
I did also see some UCLan players with a few pushes and shoves. Both teams are as bad as each other, Adam.
It's not what you want to see, really.
We'll see, because if this is on UCLan, it's going to put them in a very bad situation. And you've got to expect that Hallam are going to try and blitz again to get that safety or turnover. So the penalty was on Sheffield Hallam, and as you said, it was pulling a player off the pile, which is illegal now. I think it has been for the last 2, maybe even 3 seasons. So that's 15-yard penalty to UCLan. Gives them a little bit of breathing room after a not really effective return. Let's see if Fraser can get the ball moving this drive. Still no first down for UCLan offense. I'm sure that Fraser's frustrated, and offense coordinator Alex Challen's got to dial something up in the hope of making some progress. See that motion from the running back again. Expect a blast play here. We have an RPO. That's a jailbreak.
No, there we go.
And that's a gain for Jared Roscoe. So, gain of about 4 yards there. We do, however, have a flag. So this could stifle any progress the offense might have made. That is correct, yes, viewers. The penalty was the biggest play of the day for UCLan's offense.
You can look at that however you want to. It is positive, but also very negative. They just got to get something going here.
Offensive coordinator Alex Challens has got to be scratching his head thinking about what he can do here to make sure they can gain yardage. The only true plays they've gained yardage on so far have been, I think, 2 jailbreak passes, screen passes out to the wide receivers, and that penalty is on UCLan's offense. Unsure of what the penalty call was, but it's back to first down, and unfortunately, one of their largest offensive gains of the day, 4 yards, has been wiped off the board. So they've brought number 11, Mark Baldwin, into the formation now to play as a wing back. Let's see what they do here. Running back in motion. Got to think there's an off-tackle run coming here to Mark Baldwin's side. And he's countered to the other side. Big mess of players. No real gain there. So UCLan will have second down and long again.
There's a player down there.
Yeah, I think it's Column. If you're Alex Challens here, and
Yes.
you've not had much success so far, the offensive line has seen quite a bit of pressure. First off, what are you saying to your players?
First of all, every play starts with your O-line. You've seen a lot of pressure on that line. That line there. You know that D-line is very aggressive. If I was Alex, you're just gonna have to tell them is that they need to do absolutely everything they can, try and figure out the players in front of them, and try and get them just to hold them blocks just a little bit longer. If I was that quarterback, I'd be talking back saying it was like the run isn't working. We haven't got this. So this
See our first deep pass of the day. Jack Stodel makes a catch on the sideline for UCLan's first down of the day. And now we see some urgency from the UCLan offense. Alex Challens signaling to the offense that he wants them to get rolling. Let's see if they get back to the huddle quickly, get lined up. It looks like there's a little bit of urgency here. We do have a whistle, however.
number 32 there doesn't look happy with that.
A very interesting timeout called by Hallam there. Momentum, well, the first momentum of the day that UCLan have actually had. And the timeout there really does spoil a lot of that momentum. Whilst, yes, UCLan will be in their huddle now feeling good about that, and I anticipate you'll have all the cliche sayings of, see, we can do this, and,
I can almost hear it looking at that huddle.
I can read his lips. We can do this. We just need to execute, etc., etc. However, UCLan perhaps had Hallam on a slight back foot for a moment. Hallam's timeout there, for whatever reason, will have damaged a bit of that momentum. Although, that being said, UCLan players look like they're smiling coming out of the huddle, clapping. So perhaps a little energy there, feeling revitalised. got a boost of confidence. Let's see if they can. Let's see if they can get a second first down.
It's got to have given Fraser a bit of confidence that, like, he's been looking a bit shaky for the first half. This is his first time starting with the guys he's got. He got Mark there in front of him. I'm presuming he's an extra blocker. See what he's got lined up for this now.
It's a smart call by Alex Challenge to give a little bit of extra blocking support. Unfortunately, though, that D-line and that man, Stephen Connolly, straight through, no bother at all. So a little bit of a loss on the play of about 3 yards.
If I was UCLan here, I'd just keep trying to go for them big passes or even just the short, the intermediate ones. See what we can get, because they've got a playbook there. Like, it's very similar from the past years. They've got that ability. They've got them guys that can do it. It's just, this is at this point now when it's, say, 22-0 down to them. You're gonna have to start seeing what's going to work and what you can do with each other. So
Absolutely. What have you got to lose? If I'm UCLan here, I have seen that our most successful plays are passes. We've got nothing on the run. And so I'm probably passing deep again.
another handoff.
And he is tackled for another loss. That D-line for Hallam giving absolutely nothing. And UCLan have got to address the fact that the offensive line isn't able to contain this D-line, but they can hold off the rush for long enough to Fraser to drop back 2 or 3 steps and throw it deep. And if I'm the offensive line, or if I'm the offensive line coach, then I am cut blocking this offensive line, because worst case scenario, you're going to slow them down. Don't think we've seen any of that so far. It's all man on man, big on big pass protection. Fraser tries his luck at a scramble, but is stopped for a 1-yard gain. And after the long pass to Jack Stodel from Fraser, we have a series of negative plays for UCLan. Thoughts on the Rams likely, their mentality being, let's commit to the run. Let's establish the run here.
I think it's the same with any team, any offense. It takes a hell of a lot longer to get set and more tuned in. And this could be the approach that Hallam has gone for. This is why they've done this, where they've gone for the run, because it is easiest to establish. You put a ball in someone's hand, get someone to block. But for UCLan, I feel like they've got a lot of new guys. And
yes, yeah, they look to have a lot of new players. I say a lot of new players. UCLan's sideline is not really big on numbers, so that might be why we're seeing a lot of the same players playing offense and defense. That was a great punt by Jack Stodel there.
There was a bit of confusion then between the players, whether he jumped on it and he thought he recovered it. So that's...
Yeah, Mark Baldwin fell on the ball. It was a great punt. If Mark Baldwin would have allowed that ball to potentially roll further back, Hallam offense could be starting 3 or 4 yards further back now, which, you know, I suppose for UCLan, you need absolutely everything you can get. And UCLan defense make a stop, and we have a late flag. Let's see, it is on UCLan, I believe. It's likely going to be unsportsmanlike conduct because it came so late after the play. Let's see what Lee Taylor has. Unsportsmanlike conduct. So this will be a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down for the Hallam offence. Based on it being unsportsmanlike, you've got to assume that it's talk after the play or some kind of pushing or shoving, which in UCLan's situation now is absolutely pointless. It's pointless at any point of the game, I suppose, but you have to be more disciplined than that. To get a penalty like that in a situation like this when you're 20-0 down, and that is a fantastic play by David Bean. Broke off the offensive line, kept his outside arm free, pursued the tackler, grabbed him by the waist instead of by the shirt. Good tackle.
They're reacting a lot better to these outside runs now. It's just obviously when the counter and any of the inside plays come into play, that could be an issue for them, as it does obviously spread out that defense a bit more. But
indeed, I spoke to Jack Stewartson, the outside linebackers coach for UCLan, and he was telling me about how it's difficult because he needs his outside linebackers to support on the inside run, whilst also making sure that they can stop those outside runs. And number 24 for Hallam, Moses Awelwa, very, very good at breaking tackles on that. Just keeps driving through the middle of that huge pile of players. So we have Hallam on a third down here. Unfamiliar situation for UCLan to find Hallam in a third and medium, third and about 6 yards. Let's see if they can get a stop here and potentially get some good field position. We've got a motion from 24, offside from the defense. So Hallam are going to get a third down again because the penalty they will accept. It's going to allow them to have a third and short, I imagine. Just that snap count catching Hallam offsides again. And I suppose if you're unfamiliar with playing an offense with a snap count, like UCLan or a silent snap count, so there's a chance that this week will be the first week that the UCLan defense has gone up against an offense that actually uses a snap count. It can be quite difficult. You're expecting the ball to just be snapped on the hut, and obviously Hallam fancy their chances of catching UCLan off. Been quite successful. So we've got third and short now. You've got to imagine this is going to be another power. Hallam still not felt the need to attempt to pass yet. And 24 makes the first down and some extra before he's forced out of bounds. Strong runner, 24. But he's quick off that edge. And UCLan are just struggling to get people to the point of attack. The outside linebackers are nowhere to be seen. And there's no contain. It is 20-0 to Hallam partway through the third quarter.
let's see if we're going to see anything different this time.
Well, it'll be a power, although that ball has gone over their head, and sensibly, number 21, Dan Padley, dives on the ball. So again, as I mentioned in the first half, this is where I'm interested to see what Hallam do. In these situations when they have long yardage to gain, will they just protect the lead and run the ball, their bread and butter plays, or will they try one of these pass plays to potentially get them out of a sticky situation? We shall see. So we've got the same formation. Let's see if the tight end releases. No, we've got the counter play. UCLan smart to it that time, however. Couple of defenders there. And now we have a 3rd and long. 3rd and a mile. So assuming that Hallam tried to run the ball in this play, and let's be kind to UCLan and say that they managed to stop them for short of the first down. Your offensive coordinator, what plays are you calling for UCLan? Ball has gone over his head. Can they make something happen here, UCLan? Okay, so your best guess would be a punt here from Hallam. They are shouting punt. So they've got a punt coming. UCLan could, barring anything silly, end up with very good field position here. UCLan's offensive coordinator, put your shoes on. What are you calling, Adam?
Well, we've seen the deep pass can work. Bear in mind that could be just to Hallam's defense taking that little, the playoff and whatnot, just thinking, oh, they'll do this, they'll do that. The run isn't working. They've got to figure something out. It's just keep trying, keep going for that play. But there's loads of plays we haven't seen. They might just be doing on purpose, Joe. People have felt like this might be a game where just see what they can do with what they've got.
Oh, very nearly blocked. Good punt considering. And Jack Stodel elects to leave the ball. We have an injured player down. And we'll not watch that. Looks like the injured player is being tended to by the medical staff. Well, he is moving, so that's positive. He's managed to take his helmet off. I think that in the process of making a block, the player might have clashed heads. So we don't want to say the C word, but he's been down for quite a while. Though, as I said, he has moved, has managed to take his helmet off, so that's positive. I think that he's leaning up slightly now as well. Just looking over at the UCLan sideline, can see a number of players who have their shoulder pads off now. I think that UCLan having to face this offense and the aggressive tendencies of the defense might end up having a few players out injured, and that's not going to be too good for UCLan's comeback attempts. Just trying to get an idea of who the player might be. It might be number 40, Jordan Wearmouth. It is number 40, Jordan Wearmouth, but he has got to his feet under his own power, and he is being clapped off by his teammates. He's got a little grin on his face as well. But the coach does have his helmet, so he will be assessed for a concussion. And based on how long he was down, I would assume we're unlikely to see number 40 again today. So, UCLan offense to start. We're now, I believe, in the fourth quarter. So we're still 20-0 to Hallam over UCLan in the fourth quarter. And we've changed ends. UCLan look to make some progress with that slight adjustment they've made, bringing Mark Baldwin in the blue helmet in as an up-back, a wing-back to help protect Fraser. I anticipate, because they're going to try and pass the ball more now, one of the offensive line telling Mark Baldwin what to do there. Might have accidentally signalled what he's going to do. I think he might run through the line here and lead block for the running back. We have a jailbreak pass to Jack Stodel. Makes a nice gain. And very good play. Jack Stodel manages to break every tackle attempt, many tackle attempts, get through to the end zone. So, as we said earlier in the game, getting the ball into your playmaker's hands is important. That run game for UCLan is absolute non-starter. But getting the ball to Jack Stodel, who's absolutely ecstatic, and I'm sure very tired as well, results in 6 points for UCLan. Let's see if UCLan look to be going for 2 here. What play are you calling here?
It's hard to say. Past years, you'd be able to call it on the line right there, but if I was them, you've got these 2 guys on the right-hand side here. You've got Jared, you've got Jack Stodel as well there. It's like they're the guys you want to get to. You've got 2 corners down in press.
I would be calling a little... Oh, we've got a timeout UCLan. Not too keen on the lineup or the play they've called. If I'm UCLan here on the goal line, the run hasn't worked, and you're going to have more defenders in the box to stop the run than previously. You'll have man coverage on your receivers, and it certainly seems as though Jack Stodel and Jared Roscoe are able to shake off their defenders. I would be running a little rub play. I'd have the slot receiver run past the cornerback who's covering the wide out, give him a little bump on his way past to make space for the wide out, and have him come on a little kind of slant route, a little 1 step in diagonal.
Let's see what Alex Challenger's got under his little bucket hat here.
It's a lovely bucket hat. Alex Challenge, one of the assistant offensive coaches for the Northern All-Stars team that took place for the first time in a number of years. Okay, so we have the spread formation. It is the rub play, but there is a flag on the play.
It's almost like you need the playbook.
been known to dabble in offensive terminology before. And it counts. Penalty was either waved off or called against Hallam and declined. Penalty was waved off. Excellent signal by Lee Taylor, the referee there. So, the score is now 20-8. Still to Hallam, but the shutout is no more. Do you risk the onside kick in the fourth quarter here?
Again, if I'm Alex Challenge in this situation, I would. You still got nothing to lose on this. It's Hallam is still looking very strong. They don't look tired. They look like they can keep going. They're starting to rotate guys in. You need to try and get more points on that board. And if I was them, I'd go for that onside and try and recover that ball again.
Absolutely agree. I think that the worst case scenario is Hallam gets the ball back and they score one or two more times. That might affect your points against total later on in the season. But realistically, if you want to make a statement and you want to show that you are willing to fight and you want to make the playoffs or have a winning record in this division, then you want to be going for the onside kick here. But UCLan elect to kick the ball deep and put the ball in the hands of Hallam's offense. And number 20 breaks numerous tackles. Manages to get the ball near halfway, round about the 36-yard line of Hallam's side of the pitch.
I've got a feeling I know what Hallam are going to do here.
Give us some insight, please, Adam.
Don't know if I can give it away. I overheard it could be a power play, could be a nice run play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting for them to prove me wrong.
Well, that's where you're wrong, Adam, because I have insider knowledge that they're going to be coming out in a spread formation, air raid attack now. Oh, we're back to double wing. And it is the power. Nostradamus Bamba predicts the power, and there it is.
You'd think that defense would have picked up on that by now.
I think that the defense for UCLan are in a tough matchup. I think they're undersized in comparison to Hallam. And I think that they were not expecting this offense. And so have struggled to understand how to stop it. And Hallam are just getting people to the point of attack, driving them back, and it is methodical. Here is that dive that they've not ran in quite a while here. Good running by number 49. Number 19, Jared Roscoe, and number 30, James Mann on the tackle. So Roscoe, the one who scored the 2-point conversion. So we've got first down here for Hallam. They're just going to run clock for the rest of this game. They've got no need to pass. We've got the power there. David Bean manages to grab hold and keep hold. Great tackle. And a mild celebration there. Well, I'm glad that he didn't get penalised.
I'm trying to figure out what was going on.
He was excited. He made a tackle. And so he decided to do a lunge and stretch his pectoralis muscles. It was brilliant.
Juicy.
I'm a fan, David. So we've got second. There was a slight loss of yards on that play. UCLan, if they can get a loss here, or we've got that dive again up the middle. But unfortunately, it's that man Moses. He's gone for a first down, breaking numerous tackles on his way. And the referees are discussing something. I think there is a flag there behind. Yeah, there's a little flag there. Defensive coordinator and temporary head coach Ryan Allen there with his hands on his head. They've called a horse collar tackle, I believe. UCLan sideline in dismay. So Hallam get 15 extra yards tacked on to the end of that run. Let's see if UCLan can stand firm here, shut them out, and perhaps get the ball in the hands of Jack Stodel again, or Jared Roscoe. Don't know why I keep wanting to call Jared Roscoe Reese Roscoe. Number 7 gets a good play there in the backfield, just manages to hold on long enough for the rest of the defense to get there. Lots of knee pads covering knees here, which is great to see.
I love it. I was worried about it coming into this game.
We'll have no free the knee hashtags here. Safety only.
It's not just for the safety of your knee, it's for the safety of people's heads.
Brilliant. Good. Well, who has the better kit? This is an important question.
UCLan's recently upgraded theirs. I like the all red.
A pass.
But
A pass for only a 1 yard gain, or perhaps no gain. So could we say that Hallam's passing attack is subpar?
well, we've seen the stats don't lie. You got 1 for 1, 4-1. It needs to improve.
It is 100% completion rate so far. That's impressive, I
That is
suppose.
very impressive.
But, you know, Fraser throws a mean jailbreak.
It does. And I've lost count of how many yards he's made so far. And lost, but it works out.
Brutal. Okay, we've got 3rd and long here. We've got a little counter play, a reverse. Can Jack Stodel get there? No, referee's not signalled anything yet. He's unsure. He's sure, but he doesn't know what to signal. Stop just short, I believe. So that is 1st and goal. If you've got any money, put it on a power play. Or, I suppose it'd be quite exciting to see a dive from Hallam. .49, he could get his number called. I think 20 scored and 24 scored. Let's give the ball to 49 on a dive. That's kind. Did he manage to get in? That's a score for 49.
You've seen this before.
Number 5's elated. Same again. They just signalled same again. So, 49. It's your time again.
You can't believe it.
So in all seriousness, UCLan not able to stop the outside runs, the inside runs. Really struggled today to contain Hallam's offense, which is very straightforward, but when you rep 4 or 5 plays exclusively, there's that dive again. Andy Townsend not having any of it. He sniffed it out, gobbled 49 up. when you only rep 4 or 5 plays every single practice at offense, and you just repetitively work on blocking, you can really focus on making sure that your offense runs those plays to perfection most of the time. And we've seen that obviously today with UCLan's struggle to stop any kind of run consistently. But UCLan's passing defence is top tier right now.
It is. If I was any other team in this division right now, that's what I'd be looking out for.
I'm sure the Leeds Griffins, who won 43 or 49 to 12, are wondering how on earth they're going to get past UCLan's pass defence. Okay, let's see what return we can get here. Met the defender. He has got out to around maybe the 40-yard line there. It's difficult to see from my position. So, once again, really good field position for the Rams. They're starting in positive field position almost every drive. They're just not able to put anything together. Now, something to just to remind everybody of. Hallam have found their voice here. 20-8 is the score. Not the most offensively enjoyable game here, unfortunately, but that is the reality of the double wing offense. However vanilla it may be, it is very effective when ran properly. So all credit to Hallam for being able to do that properly. Number 7 putting on a move, breaking tackles. Jailbreak is the special of the day today for UCLan. So yeah, not the most offensively exciting game today. It's good defense on show from Hallam. An offense for UCLan looking to do something here. But we do have more games lined up in the coming future against offenses that I believe are more likely to have some variation. So on the 1st of December, so quite a while from now, but the 1st of December, UCLan host the Sheffield Sabres. Now the Sheffield Sabres, a regular rival for UCLan, very, very good games historically, actually lost to newly promoted Leeds Griffins yesterday by quite a scoreline. So that could be an interesting game with plenty of offense. On the 8th of December, UCLan host Liverpool John Moore's Fury. Now, John Moore's have been an up-and-coming team for a number of years now, and last year challenged UCLan quite a bit. Now, you'd have to assume that with the loss of Harry Routledge as offensive coordinator, they have lost quite a bit of knowledge and experience there, but the players that they do have should be cause of an interesting game. Again, quite a few offensive players on that team that I would expect would result in some decent scoreline. I'll get to the games after Christmas just after this play. So we got 1st and 10 inside Sheffield's half. Let's see what UCLan offense can do. Could it be a jailbreak, or are we going to have something else here? We're just going to have a handoff, and immediately that man, Stephen Connolly, Tickle, hit pads everywhere, making tackles in the backfield. Huge, well, not a small loss for UCLan there. So the games after Christmas, we have UCLan are hosting once again John Moores University on the 26th of January. So that'll be the opponent they most recently played. They can't be hosting them twice. One of those is an away fixture. We'll figure that out. And then on the 9th of February, Fraser passing it out to the flat there. Let's see if Mark can make back the yardage. So he made the yardage back and gained a couple more. Mark Baldwin on the catch. So on the 9th of February, UCLan will host Leeds Griffins. Now, it'll be interesting to see that matchup because a lot of people on paper will have put Leeds down as the team that that would have perhaps been demoted here. But who knows now after this game? Not the biggest scoreline between UCLan and Hallam today, but Hallam clear winners, clear favourites. It could well be that UCLan or Sheffield might be one of the teams that is facing relegation. Quick timeout here from the referee. Delay of game on the offence. Not a penalty that UCLan could afford there when they just gained a little bit of yardage back. Might have taken a bit too long to get that play in there. Let's see what they have. See if they'll change the play from their 3rd and 8 to now 3rd and 14. Fraser drops back, throws deep.
Oh.
There is the penalty. I was about to very politely say that I don't know why there is not pieces of yellow cloth on the field. That's one of those balls that in the past I have sometimes heard of very astute, excellent refereeing crews say that it was uncatchable, which is always the case when you tackle a player before
Well, I mean,
managed
the
to get to
receiver
them.
wasn't flipped about 5 yards downfield. He probably could have probably made it down there. Yeah.
It was a terrific spill. So, UCLan get another chance at life. Let's see if they have any other plays than a jailbreak or a fly. Looks like Jack Stodel doesn't know what the play is. Might have it now. And it looked to be a play action and a little hitch or a hook route to number 7, Samuel Howell, but unfortunately not brought in. So the Rams will have 2nd and 10. What play are you calling here, Adam?
Where are we?
It is 2nd and 10.
For me personally, obviously run game's still not working. I try and get a nice little underneath pass. Just keep chipping away. That's all you can really do in this type of thing. Like they're starting to realise that you want to go deep, and they've gone for the handoff.
And forward momentum stopped. It looks to me, though, as the middle of the field is open, and that's a potential area that they could exploit if they were to have any plays that could go across the middle. I do think, however, that the safety or safeties are shading over to the side of Jack Stodel and Jared Roscoe. And so potentially you have a 3 defensive player matchup there. And you also have the inside linebacker, number 50, I think he's wearing, eyeing up. And tackled for either no gain or a very short gain. Let's see what the Rams do on 3rd down here. So Fraser, Fraser is the latest QB in a long line of QBs that the UCLan Rams have had. Starting all the way back at when the Rams first existed. There was Jamie Coulston. He was the first UCLan Rams quarterback. And after Jamie, there was Lewis Cox, who was actually a DB. Number 30 here, making yardage. Can he? I believe he might have gained a first down there, if I can just...
Well, they seem to be grabbing on this this run game now with number 30. Is it James Mann? Seems to be running downfield with a head full of hot steam.
Excellent expression. So yeah, Jamie Coulston was the first UCLan Rams quarterback, followed by Lewis Cox. After Lewis Cox, there was... I've got a timeout here. After Lewis Cox was Eden Beasley, who was a running quarterback. He did have a number of passing touchdowns. To yourself, Adam.
Got a couple from Eden.
Yeah. And we have Josh Mills, who's the most recent quarterback to leave the club when he graduated. And of course, you had a stint playing quarterback, didn't you?
There was a point, yeah, they put me there. Tried to do it. It was a very intimidating position compared to say what I'm used to, so I can kind of understand what Fraser's going through here. Obviously, and then when we found our feet with Josh Mills, that's when I realised I'm just better just staying where I am.
And where is that?
That would be receiver, and I enjoyed him passing to me quite a bit. So,
indeed, jailbreak pass there to Jared Roscoe falls incomplete. Bit of a trial by fire for Fraser today. Obviously, he has had all pre-season to practice, but Hallam were the champions last year of this division, and so to go up against them in your first game, I assume, is quite intimidating. That being said, you know, UCLan were 2nd place last year, and I think they did push Hallam close.
Did it? I think it was just there was a game difference, wasn't there, between them?
A game difference, a point.
So, like, I think it was overall a win difference, wasn't it? So I think it was one of the games. I think it might have even been Hallam versus UCLan. Whoever won that game at that point would have.
I see.
Made them win that division. Obviously, Hallam took that.
Yeah. So yeah, tough trial by fire for Fraser, but at the same time, Hallam will probably have been expecting a bit more of an offensive challenge than this.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier on, this is the whole. Well, I don't want to say the beauty of it, but this is what uni football is like. You'll get your big players in, and you could be good for about 3-4 years. You could be a solid team, and then all of a sudden, when them guys leave, you've got to start over again. And from watching this and seeing this, could be exactly what UCLan's going through right now.
Yeah, so we think that UCLan could be going through an upheaval process, and they're going to have to recruit and they're going to have to develop if that is in fact what's happening. You have teams like, as you were saying, teams like Sheffield Sabres who have Mark Price, a very, very good receiver playing at the Great Britain level standard. Fraser drops back, and it is intercepted in the end zone by Hallam, making a return. I think there is a flag, but I think it came after the interception. Number 51, David Bean, seems to have got caught up in something with potentially that man, Stephen Connolly. And a late flag there, likely against UCLan. It's a shame to see UCLan losing discipline here. The frustration of losing, the frustration of not being able to execute in the way that you've practiced for weeks or months, and obviously has culminated in UCLan losing discipline, losing focus, and getting a bit choppy. So Alex Challens is talking to the UCLan Rams players now. UCLan had to try the end zone there, didn't they?
It's one of them. It's like they've not got a choice. I think that was a new play we've seen. Throw it up there, see how it was. Obviously, Hallam were in the right place at the right time, and it just. But it looks like their offense, UCLan's offense, is coming back on from this. Unless I'm mistaken.
Let's see what Lee Taylor has. I think he's coming over to talk to two fouls. So, we have a personal foul on number 51, David Bean, and that was during the return. And then after the play, there's a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct. I assume for disagreeing with the referees or being disrespectful. And so because they're two different fouls, one's a personal foul, one's a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, both penalties will be applied. That means a total of 30 yards of penalty has been given to Hallam on this play. So Hallam's offense, intercepting the ball in the end zone, returning about 10 to 15 yards, then gain another 30 yards on the back of that through UCLan's poor discipline. So let's just hope here that UCLan can keep the heads for the remainder of the game, end in a good, sensible fashion. We've got a new QB in for Hallam. Good moves by number 3. Forced out of bounds. New QB in. Was the old QB at risk of injury?
I don't know. I was really hoping this new QB coming in was going to throw the ball, but he's doing exactly the same thing, but just a little bit shorter.
The old number 5, the old QB, Callum Doherty. Clearly, Hallam believed that he was at risk, or perhaps they wanted to get the new QB, Benjamin McDonald, some real-life game reps. Jack Stodel grabbing with hands, but does eventually come and make the tackle, and unfortunately, a very late push out of bounds by Jack Stodel. UCLan just losing the cool here. temporary head coach Ryan Allen might want to have a word with his team and tell them that, unfortunately, losing is part of the game. And I don't feel as though Hallam have done anything wrong. I don't feel as though they've been disrespectful or dirty in any way. UCLan are currently just struggling to accept the fact that they're unable to stop their offense, and that UCLan's offense is unable to get anything going. Let's dive up middle to number 3, and quite an easy path to the end zone. And Hallam now lead 26-8. And number 82, Jack Stodel, I believe, may have just been ejected from the game. Thoughts on young players coming to university and having to, and playing a game like this and perhaps not being experienced enough to handle their own emotions?
It's quite clear that the whole UCLan side is looking very frustrated. This is obviously shown on the past. How many 45 yards of penalties was it on that just last drive, which helped Hallam a lot clearly. And if there is the injection of that player there, of Jack Stoller there, it's quite clear. It's like a culture thing. Like, they should have been brought into it. It was passed down from when I was at UCLan from time. It was attitude like that isn't. It's not acceptable. Like, you can't do that. You can't. It doesn't look good on you. It doesn't look good on your team. You've got to learn over this next season now, because by the looks of things, it's going to be very tough for them. They've just got to try and keep their head and keep the cool. They can't be afford to keep doing things like that.
Agreed. Let's hope that Jack Stodel hasn't been ejected. Otherwise, that's a nice fine for him, and he'll miss the next game. Let's see what referee Lee Taylor has. Okay, referee Lee Taylor clearly frustrated by all the penalties he's having to call. So 77 from the offense from Hallam was called for an unsportsmanlike conduct, a dead ball. So the touchdown does still count, I believe. But number 82, Jack Stodel, also called for an unsportsmanlike conduct. And so, because that is his second unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of the game, has been ejected. Now, the real shame about that is, speaking quite frankly, is that nothing happened. I believe what Jack Stodel did is complain to the referee or critiqued the referee after the play. But when we saw the play, Jack Stodel, the safety position, came down to try and stop the run, was stiff-armed to the helmet, to the face mask, which is completely legal. The only thing you can't do is grasp, and I'm confident that the offensive player for Hallam didn't grasp. And Stodel didn't make the tackle, player scored, and Jack is not happy about that for whatever reason and believes that something different should have happened, a different outcome, and is now ejected from the game. And if he wants to play for the rest of the season, he does have to pay a fine, and he will miss the next fixture, which is a great shame, because we can clearly see how much they lean on Jack Stodel, both for special teams, offense, and defense, I suppose. So poor discipline has put Jack's team in a bad situation, not just for the remainder of this game, but also for the next game. And I'm sure that head coach Chris Bradley, when he returns, will have some choice words for how his team has acted in the fourth quarter of this game. I know that you personally are a former UCLan Ram, and obviously know a lot of former UCLan Rams, and as you mentioned, culture is very important at the club, and perhaps either the players haven't bought into the culture, or perhaps some of the players are unable to handle their emotions at this point. Let's just hope that head coach Chris Bradley and offensive coordinator Alex Challens, defensive coordinator Ryan Allen are able to rally the team and perform better in the next fixture. Not just perform better, but also perhaps show a greater level of maturity. Long discussion here between Lee Taylor and Kieran Dunn. I think that the game has been called. Interesting decision there. I'd be curious to see how long was left on the game clock before that game was called. I can only assume that it's UCLan's decision, and that the long conversation between Lee Taylor and Kieran Dunn, Hallam's head coach, was Lee telling Kieran about UCLan's decision, and knowing Hallam, them being unhappy about that, which is completely understandable. These players have come all this way, they've paid to play, they've trained all this time, and they should expect to fulfill the full fixture. Perhaps UCLan feel as though their injuries are too severe, although I'm not sure how many injuries they might have sustained. A tough day for UCLan, and a very good start for Hallam, who I get the impression have shocked the UCLan Rams with their offensive formation. Thoughts on Hallam going forward?
I think from what I've seen, that's not everything that Hallam's got to offer. I think they've realised these power plays, these run plays are working, and there's absolutely no show of it slowing down. So they might have thought it's the first game of the season, why should we show any more? Like, especially the game, it's obviously been streamed. It's been streamed. It's been everyone to see, and so they might as well just keep doing the 3-4 plays that have been working, and it's shown, it's executed. The final score has ended up being 20 Hallam, UCLan 8. And I'm expecting to see a lot more over the weeks, over the months, as this team progresses together, because their offense is looking new. There's a lot of new faces I'm seeing there, but what scheme they've gone for is obviously seems to be working for them. So I just expect nothing but positive and positive progression for Hallam going forward in this season.
Yeah, historically, a long time ago, long before I was involved with university football, Hallam did run a double wing with great success. I know that their quarterback, David Saul, who I'm sure lots of people will recognise the name of, him and Richard Batty, Grizz, had great success running double wing at Hallam for many years. And just over time, I suppose, with their players, they've eventually managed to get to the point where they were running spread for a while. But now, perhaps based on the players that they have, they've gone back to this formation. And as you said, they have no reason to pass the ball here today. They could quite comfortably win this game by just powering through. And UCLan's defense did not have an answer. How do you see UCLan getting back on track and recovering from this? How are they going to do that?
I hope from this game that they realise this is a wake-up call for them. So they've had a player rejected, they've had a lot of flags thrown on them, players have lost their lost their heads. They kind of got frustrated, and I hope that this game now has made them realise that they aren't invincible. Like, they aren't clearly how they were, say, 2 years back when they went on, 2-3 years back when they went undefeated, or say when they made the playoffs for the past few years and whatnot. Like, now this team are going to have to take a completely different approach. They're all going to have to come together and help each other out. Fitness is a big thing, obviously, with the minimal amount of